This is Jay Martin.
What you
There's
got?
this particular market that I'm very high on myself, the uranium market. Right
Mhm.
now, the fundamentals for uranium have turned 180 degrees, uh, barring a major catastrophe again in some nuclear reactor plant or the total world imploding and everybody's trying to find wood and a piece of meat to eat to survive. It's very hard to see why over time uranium should go up in price. The need for nuclear is going to play more on a role, and companies like a Cameco or somebody that's well established should do well over time. What's stopping people from that is things like, and I don't want to take away because I know you're very involved in digital media and all, but I think people are watching too much intraday and are on Twitter all day and reading about 20 guys and it's up a day and then it's down and they don't understand that these are businesses and even the biggest of businesses can't have positive news every day and certain things and our horizon has gotten shortened. When I entered the business, the average research report had a 3 to 5 year outlook. If you said to anybody now, most people, hey, I like this for this name of the company, and here's the reasons. And over the next 3 to 5 years, before you can even say another sentence, they go, whoa, 3 to 5 years. I can't wait 3 to 5 years. Even for a double, my things double 3 or 5 days, or maybe 3 to 5 months. But I think the
Yeah.
other problem is that people have, because of the way everything is with instantaneous news and things of that nature and all, in the old days, but even before, people used to have to call the broker to get a price or wait to the newspaper at the end of the day. Now they may get thrown off because they're sitting online and they're reading something, and something that really wouldn't affect them if they didn't hear it gives them an emotional scare and they don't have that plan, and boom, they make a change. So I
Yeah.
think we need to give ourselves an understanding that we still are buying into part ownerships of businesses, and businesses have ups and downs, and normally it takes longer than we first expected to be successful.
That's so important. And you hit on something, right? Yeah, I'm in digital media, but you noticed I didn't ask you once about what the equities market did last week, what the gold price did last week, because it's irrelevant, right? We talked about culture wars, currency trends, geopolitical events, long-term trends that create long-term differences and change. And I completely agree with you. We label ourselves as investors, and I don't put myself in this camp or yourself, but often people label themselves as investors, but then they think like traders, like day traders or swing traders, right? And get themselves in trouble as a consequence. Back to the uranium market, because you brought it up, I completely agree with you. I mean, one of two things has to happen in theory: either the lights go out or the price goes up over time, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at here. Let's wrap with this a little bit, Peter. What do you like about the uranium market? And what I mean is, are there certain geographies that you look towards? Are there certain project stages that you look towards? Any counsel or advice for anybody who's curious about the uranium sector?
Well, I think this will fit for not only uranium, but I'm also a big believer in gold. And I'm a very big believer long term on taking advantage of the retreat in the copper price.
Mm.
The difference now than 20 or 30 years ago when I managed hedge funds and come to great shows like yours and all, we could have spin a globe in your office, did and close our eyes and hit it. And wherever country we basically landed on, we go, hey, we can go there. You can't say that anymore in the resource business. We're very, very restricted now. It's becoming less and less. I'll give you an example. I've watched some of the biggest CEOs of major copper and base metal companies and even gold in recent weeks start to openly talk about places like Chile and all about it may become much tougher to mine there. They may nationalize, et cetera. And why I bring that up is geographically where we look is important.
Mm-hmm.
And now we learned, I think it's something like 50 million pounds we need to run our nuclear reactors here in the USJ. And I think right now America produces almost zero.
Yeah.
So again, if we're going to do all this, there's going to have to be a revamping, because outside of Canada and maybe Australia, some of the other places that uranium is found, hopefully, and used, is not exactly the best of friends of America. And I think a lot of that's going to even change more because of my concerns about the geopolitical we spoke about. So where you're at, is important. And then, of course, to understand in that particular market, there's so few players. I mean, there's so few major producers, players, et cetera, that realistically, there's going to be a couple companies that dominate. And for me, yeah, if you're going to be a believer in uranium, you have to own Cameco. There's just no way around it.
Mhm.
Now, can Cameco go from 30 cents to $5 with some junior may or may not, because it's, it's not, but I'm not really worried about a loss of principle there. So I think where you look, and the mining industry, which has not thrown a lot of money at capex across the board for a long period of time now, if the world wants half, just half of what it says or what it pictures 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, it isn't in any shape. There hasn't been a major opening of a copper new mine in the world in 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, so if we want all this stuff, we want electric vehicles, we want to have all of this and all, we also going to have to recognize we're going to have to be willing to either go places or within our own area, allow mining where maybe somebody used to say, well, there's a turtle there or something, or an owl, and we can't go there. And that's going to be the other the battles are not just going to be political, they're going to be economical as well.